Hi everyone, this is Dr. Serge, the nutrition scientist. In my last video, I explained to you a little bit my journey and why I do health and holistic medicine today. But the turning point on my journey was not because of my own issues. Yes, I was really sick in my 20s. I was dying, I believe. I had a lot of issues that doctors didn't really know why I had issues. So I was masking all those issues with medication, like I explained. But the really major change or situation that happened in my life is when my son, Luca, was born 13 years ago now. And a few months later, he was diagnosed with a rare type of kidney cancer. So back then, I was living in Boston, and we would see the best oncologists and the best doctors when it comes to cancer in children. And they were a little bit surprised to see that cancer in kids, because usually they see it in adults. So they were a little bit puzzled by what needs to be done. So we were really scared back then. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. And of course, we followed what doctors recommended. So right away, when he was diagnosed, we started doing a strong version of chemotherapy for that cancer. So we did that for months. Every couple of weeks, we would go in and do a chemo on him. And as we went along in that process, after a few months, we could see that Luca, or his body, was breaking down, was sick and getting sicker. And at some point, we would spend almost every weekend in the hospital. He would have infection, he was septic, he had diarrhea, constipation. He had a bunch of different issues or symptoms from the chemotherapy. But we decided to just listen and follow what doctors would say. So that's what we did for months. And after doing all those chemo treatments, the next step was surgery. So the cancer was about the size of the half of the abdomen. So it was a big size cancer tumor. So when the tumor was way smaller from the chemo treatments, so the surgeon did the surgery, removed the whole mass, everything went well. But a few months later, we did radiation, of course, for about a month and a half. And a few weeks later, we found out that Luca had seizures, multiple seizures an hour, actually. And we found out it was because of his cancer coming back into the brain. So at that point, we didn't know what to do. So doctors recommended radiation. So he had 3 different masses in the brain. So we decided to go for it. That was actually a few days before Christmas. So we spent that Christmas in the hospital doing treatments and stabilizing Luca. He was in the PQ back then. So we decided to do radiation. And then a few weeks later, we found out that the cancer was into the blood, into the bones. So that cancer was spreading relatively fast because of the nature of what it was. So we decided at that point to just stop everything. Luca was not himself at all at that point. He was just sleeping all the time, and he would have seizures, and he would not eat, and he would lose weight. So that was my really wake-up call, spending about 12 months in the hospital, in and out, doing chemo, radiation, surgery, and ERs, and different things we did. So it woke me up to the reality of the medical system today. And it makes me realize that there was something wrong, that everybody who go into the hospital will never come back healthy. They will come back sick and sicker, taking more medication, having more issues. So that was the big turning point for me. So I started to realize that I needed to change my path, my career, because I was going down that path as a medical doctor. So I decided to research different things around and to look at what I could do with my training, instead of making people worse with drugs and medications, to actually make a change in people's life. So that's why today I'm a nutritionist, holistic doctor. I help people with the health, and we really go at the bottom of what's going on today. Most of my patients who come to us are actually sick. They've been to doctors over and over, but they never really found answers. They have problems. That's what we do today. We use multiple tools to figure out why you have issues. So that's my path, that's my story. So I will talk to you later. God bless you all.